For 18 months growing up, this morning's guest home was a tent. For the last 30 years, he's been putting families in real homes. Who is he? You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Charlie Brindel building of the Coastal Carolinas Association of Realtors in one of the classrooms of the Fortune Academy, one of its 14 locations statewide. We're focused on the Coastal Carolinas Association of Realtors, and we're visiting with its Executive Vice President.
That's correct.
Charlie Brindel himself. Good morning, Charlie.
All the way. Good.
Thank you so much for having us in.
Thank you.
We had a great day yesterday with Ansel Talbert, and actually Diane Devon Stokes will be with us here tomorrow. It's going to be fun saying the Charlie Brindel building. That must be strange having a building, going to work each morning at a building with your name on it.
It is, and I thought for a little while maybe they usually name that after you, when you die. So I thought, well, maybe I better take my name off.
Yeah, get my name off of there.
Get my name
off of there. But you were going strong, and the building's holding up.
Sure.
What a gorgeous location.
Beautiful building, too. It's the prettiest real estate office in the country.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. It's got to be. If not the prettiest, definitely one of them. But I'm hearing you say it is the prettiest.
Yeah, not the largest, but the best looking, right.
It is gorgeous. You know, it's so easy to find as folks are, if they're coming in off of 17 Business, they just make that first right on Shine Avenue, and it's right there on the left.
Look for the big flagpole.
The big flagpole.
Right.
Yes, that makes it easy to find. And of course, so many folks know Tofino's, and its proximity to Tofino's is a great thing.
Well, we try to stay out of there. But it's a great restaurant.
It is, it is. And of course, coming in off of the bypass, they just follow that Faro Parkway all the way to Shine. Take a left, and y'all are again on the left. Do a lot of people just come by for the first time to check it out?
They do, and a lot of people don't know why we exist here, but we also act as a location. People want to know where certain offices are on the base.
Right.
We act as a locator system for them. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah, and there are a lot of different folks out here on the base, and surely with the Market Common opening next April.
Be a lot more.
And I think you all have a huge parking lot right behind here. The CCR owns.
Absolutely.
Which is immediately adjacent to where
we're trying to make a final plan on what we're going to develop back there. We need to develop something that's a revenue producer.
Right.
Might be a parking lot or a parking garage. We looked at a motel and a conference center at one time. Didn't know whether we really had the land or not, but we have 3.3 acres back there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You can do a lot with 3.3 acres. Charlie.
Yeah, I expect it's turned out to be pretty valuable for us also.
Yeah. The proximity there to the Market Common. What about that project?
Wow, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
It is. They're really McCaffrey interests, and of course all the other folks involved, Lucady and the different groups that are doing other projects, Robert O'Neill. The Myrtle Beach Air Base Redevelopment Authority is really, it's turned out to be.
They did a great job. I don't know where we're going with the new airfield, if we're going to have one or not, but I think a lot of the air traffic here is going to be key to our future economy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Real quick about yourself, Charlie. Are you originally from the area?
I'm from near Hickory, North Carolina. I was kind of born out in a little farm settlement. You know, when the doctor came to the house and delivered the babies, instead of you going to the hospital and having it delivered, right? Yeah. I was born in a little town called Hildebrand. It's just across the county line in between Burke County and Catawba County in North Carolina.
Do you still have family up in that area?
I've got a few, but they're very distant, either very distant or very old. And I've been up there to see most of them lately. I kind of want to I'm trying to make a run up there every year so I can touch base with them.
That's great. That's great. I think I saw at one point later in life you'd lived in Gastonia.
Well, I lived all around that area for a long time. I don't know if you know what you know about my background, but my dad ran away from home when I was 4 years old.
Age 4?
Yeah, my mother and I never came back. My mother and we had a little sister. I had a little sister, and we had to move anywhere we could find a place to sleep. We wound up in a tent for 19 months one time.
19 months in a tent?
Yeah.
My Lord.
By the railroad track, behind the signboard. Yeah.
Did you? Do you mind me asking? Did you ever reconnect with your father?
No, I found out later he was dead, and I visited his gravesite. It was down in Leesburg, Florida. He'd become a very wealthy man, owned a motel and 30 trucks, and had a big trucking company.
That's tragic.
Yeah.
I think I saw at one point you ended up in, is it Johnson City, Tennessee?
Yeah, I was. I went there at hunting work, any kind. They started me out counting sheets and pillowcases that we turned into the laundry. And I worked so hard, they let me work upstairs as an assistant maid, and then they gave me status of maid. And the guy that ran the kitchen saw I was working so hard, he brought me down as an intern in the kitchen. I learned all the activities in the kitchen.
Right.
From A to Z, yeah. And then, of course, when the janitor didn't come at night, I'd have to clean up, get done about midnight at night.
Is that right?
Yeah, I worked in there, I guess, about 4 years, and during all that time, I never had a date, but I was anxious to get out of there. I couldn't even catch a movie because we were so busy.
Is that right, in that hotel? Was it the John
Sevier
Hotel there in Johnson City?
You know, John Sevier was part of the Tennessee secession from North Carolina, and they made him the governor, and then it's called the state of Franklin. And the governor of North Carolina sent his troops up there and brought them back into the fold, and then again they seceded, and John Sevier was the first governor of Tennessee.
Is that right? I did not know that.
Well, the reason I know it, it was in the back of a matchbook at the hotel.
And you never forget that.
Right,
That's
right, yeah.
Probably still have one of those matchbooks. You know, you think about connections like that at an early age. It was there, I believe, that you actually had the opportunity to join one of the armed services. Yeah,
I joined the Army. It was 1945, and they were looking for recruits. The war was about over in Europe, and they allowed 17-year-olds to enlist, and I was only 16.
Right.
And I went to the pool room and gave an old wino $2 to sign my dad's name. Nobody, you know, they didn't check your birth certificate in those days. And it wasn't long till I was on a boat going to Europe, on a ship, big ship.
At age 16, when they were trying to get folks in at age 17.
I weighed 113 pounds. I think my best weight was 116. Yeah.
No, Charlie.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What was that like being, I mean, you were barely a teenager. You'd just been a teenager for 3 years. I guess you'd obviously grown a lot there in the hotel. And
I had, yeah. I worked hard. I understood opportunity. And I've got a personal saying that the only way to get away from opportunity in the United States is just lay down and die. It's the only way to get away from it.
There is.
It's out there, sure. And the Army just raised the military pay from $21 a month to $50. And I found out that if I went in, they'd take $37 of my $50 and send it to my mother and sister.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Your mother and sister. So that was critical.
Yeah, so they got it every month regardless of what was going on.
That's wonderful. So you were able to help support them. Were they living there in Tennessee?
They had gone back. My mom got homesick for North Carolina. They'd gone and left me there, and they built me a bedroom upstairs where they had extra mattresses and silverware and glassware, and they built me a small bathroom, and I lived in the attic.
I'm always amazed to hear about that. Some of the parents that really recognized. I've heard Jack Thompson tell the story of coming down here, you know, with Carol Campbell,
with the governor,
with the other guy, Fred, somebody, and they end up down here. All those other guys went home.
Yeah, and they stayed.
Jack's parents let him stay.
That's a great story. We have him speak to our association about every 18 months.
Is that right?
Yeah, because we get a lot of new people, and they love to hear that story.
Jack is Cracker Jack. Yeah,
great
I've heard
guy.
It many times, and of course, one of his brothers came down to get him, and he stayed here and never went home. And I just couldn't imagine the parents enabling that to happen. But you're saying in your early teens, your mother decided she needed to go home, but you were really old enough that you were capable of handling it yourself.
Well, I think in those days, you know, there wasn't a lot of abuse to children and stuff, and my mom was very comfortable with my taking care of myself.
Right.
And I did,
That's wonderful. Is your sister still living?
She passed away a couple of years ago.
Is that right,
yeah.
Charlie? I'm sorry. Wow.
And of course, Mom died. Her birthday would have been this month. She'd have been 110 if she had lived.
Is that right?
She was born in 1898. You know, when you're filling out a credit card application or something, they put down there your mother's birthday. I put 1898, and the lady called me back, and she said, "This won't fly."
No, is that right? It won't
she
fit
did.
in the computer. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
How long did you stay in the Army?
I stayed in 3 years, and I came back in 48, and I was part of the occupation force, and my first job was to round up and segregate prisoners. We was shipping them home, and of course they had seen enough of the war. They wanted to go home.
Right.
And we'd have some to ship north, south, east, and west, and that was my job, and it put me in charge of about 50 at a time to march them down to the railroad station, put them on a train, and send them home. Of course, here I am at my 116-pound weight, you know, and
Right.
and these guys were monsters.
Yeah, big guys.
Yeah, but they didn't want to fight anymore. I had my rifle and my bayonet attached to it, you know. I looked great, but it been no contest. But I did that for about a year, and then we started recovering jeeps, tanks, and stuff like that. And then I was really so small that the older first sergeants took care of me. One of them made me his clerk, and I was a clerk for about 2 years. And then they put me in charge of a squad, and we'd do on patrols. Call them show of force patrols. So there was no regeneration of military service against us, you know. So we'd have a show of force in the community with our little tanks and the armored cars.
Right.
And I did that till 48, and I came home, met a little girl picking figs in my aunt's backyard. And I got home on August the 9th of 48, and she and I got married the first day of September. And we just hit 59
3
years.
weeks later, yeah.
59 years, yeah.
Is that right? Congratulations, Charlie. Wow.
Long time, isn't it?
59 years, yeah.
She's going to give me a medal.
She's going to give you a medal. You've given her 8, so she's going to finally give you one.
Yeah, she said she'd give me a medal.
That's amazing. Speaking of medals, you've got a tremendous medal there right below your real estate flag.
It is. It's the Distinguished Service Cross. It ranks next to the Medal of Honor for bravery in combat. And I came upon a patrol that had been ambushed, and there was about 24 guys in the back of a truck, and the enemy the BC had gone in and thrown hand grenades in on the guys. They stunned them with a rocket, then they threw hand grenades in there, and 18 of them were dead and 6 were still alive. I pulled those 6 people out under fire. Yeah. I don't know where I got the strength from.
Wow.
And I should have been scared to death, but I wasn't until it was over.
Just that split second of getting in there and not even thinking about it.
That's correct.
That's amazing.
Yeah, sometimes it brings back kind of sad memories. Yeah.
Seeing 18 guys dead, I'm sure that would, but...
Well, actually, I was kind of stacking them up out like wood, and I realized what I was doing. I didn't want to make a stack out of them, so I stretched them all out along the road. Yeah.
Boy, Charlie, that's tough. That's very tough. You stayed in the... you said you were in for 3 years and then...
Went back. I got a letter from Washington asking me to go to Officer Candidate School. And they gave me one more stripe and sent me out to that school, and I graduated in March 50, just in time for the Korean War, you know.
Okay,
yeah.
So then you stayed in again for quite a while.
I stayed 32 years.
Is that right? Wow. What opened the door to real estate, Charlie? How'd you get into...
Well, a lot of Army officers were retiring after 20 years, and they were getting out of the military when they were about 40, 45, somewhere in that. And I began to read stories about they're having psychiatric problems. You know, they're retiring so young and they didn't know what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
So I decided I was going to know what I did with myself when I got out, and I took a real estate course one night, and at 5 nights, and then I got my real estate license because I took a test at the College Placement Center that said I was supposed to get in sales, real estate or insurance, and I went off the scoring chart in real estate. So I thought, well, why don't I try the chart?
Do it.
Yeah, the Dr. Harriet Rose, the lady that was administering the test, said, now, you can't always believe in these things, so you have to know yourself and your own heart. But it worked out pretty good for me. Yeah, I've been a real estate exec now for 30 years, so I've really got 62 years in the workforce.
Wow, Charlie, 2 full-time careers.
Yeah, I was born to work. I'm really a workaholic.
You never see yourself retiring?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk my leadership in here to give me a lifetime contract because I'm 78 this year and I'll be 79 in May.
Right.
And I think they pretty well got me covered through 08, and I may try to negotiate for 09.
Yeah,
I'll be 80 years old,
Wow, it'd be tremendous to see that day come and then pass, and then
I'm
85.
lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky, I'm one of those people that love to get up in the morning and go to work. How many people can say that and really mean it? I'm there, yeah.
And you really do mean it. That's
well, in the real estate family changes quite often. You know, we lose about 200 or 300 every year. We get 200 or 300 more, and it's a career that you can run into your 80s.
Is that right? Yeah, you can stay active.
There's no limit to it if you're inclined to stay with it.
Most realtors are. What's the difference, Charlie, between a real estate agent and a realtor? Is there one?
Yes, there is. If you are a realtor, you're allowed to wear the realtor R, as you see on our flag up there.
Oh, yeah, very nice R right behind that.
But if you're just a real estate agent, you don't belong to any organized functions. We have a code of ethics,
right,
which I refer to as our local court-martial system.
Yeah.
Everybody understands it when I say court-martial system. So if there's a complaint against a realtor out there, I process it. We set up a hearing just like a small court.
Right.
And we process it and provide due process for everyone.
Oh,
and,
yeah, sure.
We don't get a lot of nickel and dime complaints. Once in a while we get a serious one. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And we act on it right away because our reputation, you know, it depends on our doing that.
Sure. And the Coastal Carolinas Association of Realtors is Horry and Georgetown, all the realtors in the two counties?
There's a little, another separate little board up in Grand Strand in the North Myrtle Beach area.
Okay, right.
They have about 500 or 600 members up there.
But
Great small board.
Many of them are part of both, though. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
They have to use our multiple listing system.
Right.
We're the technology center for all the places in Horry, Georgetown.
Sure. And y'all are part of the National Association of Realtors.
Yes, we are. We're a three-tiered organization. If you join locally, you're automatically a member of state and national.
Okay.
And we share our dues three ways. You know, actually most of the dues stay here, but a share of it goes to the state and national.
Of course, y'all have had a great, or the Fortune Academy has had a great symbiotic relationship with the Coastal Carolina.
Very much so. We've worked with them for years. I used to teach for them, and yeah, it was just great. I had my own little real estate school in North Carolina once. I was Champion Real Estate School. So
Champion up in the
North Carolina.
Right. Of course, there's other great real estate schools in the area, and they all deal with, I'm sure, CCAR as well.
Oh yeah, you wind up with us at the end, whatever happens. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. You know, so much has to happen to get into a career and stick with it. For you, having been in two careers well beyond the amounts of time that a lot of people just have in one career, what's that been like for you, Charlie, to be able to look back after 32 years in the military and now to be able to look back after 30 years as being a realtor? I'm
very proud of both of them, of course. There was different objectives in the military and in civilian life. The military, unless you're in the war, is a little bit easier because everything is prescribed according to the code, you know.
Right.
But now in civilian life, you have a lot of decisions that are made by yourself and others that affect you, some good, some bad. But the military was, if you could conform, was an easier way to make it. In civilian life, there are a lot of other avenues that are effective to your career. Yeah,
right.
Affected, yeah.
Some of the early inspirations for you, Charlie, who were some of the folks early in life that really...
a third grade school teacher named Miss Harris.
Is that right?
Yeah, and a seventh grade English teacher named Miss Van Gorder.
Wow.
And I remember those people. I remember them well.
Third grade teacher. What was it about Miss Harris that really stands out?
She knew that I was poor and she took care of me.
Huh.
Yeah, she gave me the recognition that I needed.
Right.
Because obviously being very poor, very shy. I'd try to stay in the corner and she'd bring me out of the corner.
Wow. And
then I had Miss South teach me Latin in the 10th grade, and I remember her, very beautiful young woman. I remember my Latin book because I had to buy used books every year. I couldn't buy new ones, didn't have the money.
Right.
But that hotel where I worked would usually fund my books. But I remember reading in this used Latin book that I had, Latin is a dead language, dead as dead can be. First it killed the Romans, and now it's after me. You don't see much Latin anymore, do you?
No, but it's what my grandmother used to call kind of a gentleman's education. You know, learning Latin was very important, the basis of everything.
Well, I was serving in the Far East when I was working on my master's, and I took Japanese as my college language.
Wow.
I was a straight C student. very,
and
very proud, yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, if you don't use that Japanese, you don't keep it with you, right?
I bet.
Yeah, and I went to night school 19 years to get my baccalaureate degree.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
19 years? During your service in the military?
You could go 2 or 4 nights a week. Usually I was a foot soldier out in the field digging foxholes.
Right.
And I could probably only make 2 nights a week. But my colonels and my generals were so proud of me that they would loan me their Jeep at 5 o'clock, and they'd put a dead tag on me, wounded, I was declared dead.
Right.
And they'd let me leave from 5 to 9 and take their Jeep and go into class.
No.
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
Did that 19 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Some of those folks probably stand out in your mind as well.
Oh, they do, sure.
Yeah, some of the folks in military service, and obviously they're all following that same code. And of course, there's the Code of Military Justice and other codes that that folks really have to think about as well.
I'll tell you, when I took that test, what I wanted to be in that placement center, I came out real estate. I was working on my master's. To get to that university as the ROTC professor, I had to have a master's.
Right.
Well, after I got the baccalaureate, and the University of Kentucky was where I got where I was my ROTC assignment.
Right.
They required a master's degree, and I got a master's degree in public administration with an emphasis in city and county government, hospital administration.
Did you ever think of going into that?
I have. I looked real hard at it. I did an internship in the city manager's office, and I did one at a VA hospital. So I had a pretty good grasp. I was pretty flexible. Yeah.
That's tremendous.
It gives you a lot of confidence to get that master's degree. I thought, boy, when I got that baccalaureate, I was already 40-some years old. I thought, my God, I just made another plateau.
Do anymore, yeah.
Got a plateau here, but then you seem to want to reach out.
Right, right.
And I got enough stuff to do a PhD up in my office upstairs here.
Yeah, oh, I bet you do. I bet you do, absolutely. And your office is upstairs. And speaking of this location, we're less than a month from October 11th. You got a big event coming up here on October 11th.
Yeah, we're having a legislative pig picking.
Okay.
Once a year, we invite all the candidates that are running for office or might even be thinking about running for office. And we have a big pig picking in here.
Right.
We've had as many as 700 people.
No way.
Yeah, we have beer, soft drinks, and cocktails.
Right.
And it's $10 a person. You can eat all the food you want, and you're entitled to 2 drinks for that. And
is that
yeah,
right?
we kind of restrict the amount of drinking because we don't want anyone to leave here and get hurt.
Sure. Local, state, and national. Everything.
Yeah, we invite the president, the vice president, and all of the Congress, and all of the state candidates.
Right.
Down to the school board. I forgot the school board one year, and I caught the devil for that. Yeah.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, yeah. Yeah, very important, particularly when you're talking about some of those tremendous educators that really made a difference for you.
Well, I can remember them, too, yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing some of those things you have vivid memories of, Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
That folks,
oh, yeah. I remember that little old chef in that kitchen. His name was Guy Shimmerhorn. He had been a horse jockey, and he got thrown and hurt. But he was the chef in that big hotel.
At the John Sevier.
Yeah, about this tall, yeah. Shimmerhorn.
Shimmerhorn, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did you ever keep up with some of those people later in life?
I'm very good about that. Yeah. I go back and look at them. I have the lists of all the officers that I've served with. And of course, I read the bulletin every month of who's died, and I chalk them all. But I have a big list, yeah. Phone numbers. I'll call them once a year and say, hi, I'm doing well, how are you doing?
Right,
yeah.
right. That's very important to keep up with folks. Is that something you picked up as a realtor, or you think that's just innate?
I'm a
Charlie Brindel.
I'm a people person.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people, when their friends leave, they never go back. Once I'm your friend forever. Yeah.
Those are great words. If a viewer wanted to learn more about the pig picking, is there a good phone number they could call to sign up?
Yes, we have a coordinator for that type of activity. Her name is Brooke Baker, and it's 839-8084.
Okay, great.
And she'll be glad to take your reservation. You pick your ticket up here. We'll mail it to you, or whatever you want us to do. We'll be glad to do it for you.
The event's from 5:30 to 8:30 on
5:30
Thursday,
to 8:30.
October 11th.
That's absolutely correct, sir.
Brooke at 839-8084. And it's important to call ahead of time.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for remembering that, because, we kind of get some idea of how many people are coming so we can prepare the right amount of food.
Sure. Very definitely. Very definitely. What do you think's been the best part about being a realtor for you, Charlie? What's been the best aspect there?
Being innovative, having visions to make changes, stay ahead of the crest. I'm a great innovator. I have a great vision for the organization. I love it. And we do more for our realtor members in this area than anywhere else in the nation. We have never raised our dues since I've been here. Last year we gave our members back $85. And our net worth now, with that 3 acres back there in this building, about $6 million.
Is that right?
Yeah, and they didn't have enough money to pay me when I first got here. I worked 19 weeks without pay. I'd work for them for nothing, but don't tell them that. Okay? Yeah.
That's right. It's Tuesday morning. Those are great words. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Out of time. Absolutely.
Good. I hope I made a few points for my Realtor R here.
I love it. Absolutely. Okay. And it's a big R. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Charlie Brindel coming up next. 839-8084, 839-8084. The $10 covers the barbecue, all the fixings there, even a couple of drinks. It'll be a tremendous evening Thursday, October 11th. Thursday, October 11th, right here at the Charlie Brindel building of the Coastal Carolinas Association of Realtors. Get out of here, 5:30, 8:30 p.m. It's the 26th annual Legislative Day Pig Picking. You need to take the time. Pick up the phone, 839-8084. Think of those words, your mother looking down at you saying, Charlie, Joanne, we've worn out our welcome here. Thankfully, she had 6 sisters and 4 brothers, and so they had that opportunity to move around with all of Charlie and his sisters, aunts, and uncles. But if it wasn't for them, they would have remained in that tent for more than the 18 months at a time. He may not have found the John Sevier Hotel there in Johnson City, Tennessee. There's so many other things. He may not have met that chef. Some of those great names you heard him talking about, Miss Van Gorder and Miss Harris and Miss South, those early names stick in people's minds. Education is really what it's all about at an early age, whether it's now at the Coastal Carolina Association of Realtors, educating so many tremendous young realtors and older realtors coming out, the Fortune Academy doing the exact same thing, or folks like Charlie making a difference every day.